Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Stephen Fennell, Senior Marketing and Recruitment Specialist with Georgian College, and it's my pleasure to be your host for the Hospitality, Tourism, and Recreation Programs. I would like to introduce John Daggett, who is the Employer Relations Consultant, also head coach of our rugby team. John, over to you.
Thank you, Stephen. Good morning. Yeah, you stole a bit of my thunder there. I'm excited for today. You know that I get pretty wound up for these things. So if I start talking way too quickly, please slow me down. And welcome to everybody who's joined us this morning. Very excited to talk to you about the programs in our hospitality, tourism, recreation portfolio in school. And what I'll do this morning is go through the programs, give you a bit of an overview of each one, length of time, a little bit about the process, any co-op opportunities that are available, or additional work integrated learning opportunities in the programs. Really, what we're looking for though today is wanting students to ask questions, wanting people to ask questions. So if at any time, please feel free to go in, ask questions. We're going to respond to them. I have a number of my colleagues online with me this morning, and together we'll answer the questions that you'll have. My slides this morning are pretty quick. We're going to get through them and then provide a lot of opportunity afterwards for students to ask questions. So let's get started. We have a number of different options available to students. We have one-year certificates, 2- and 3-year diplomas, and graduate certificates. So really, depending on where you are in your educational
Excuse me, John,
stream.
can you reshare your slide deck?
Okay, sure. Can we see that now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So just back, we have a number of different opportunities and programs available to students. We have one-year certificates, 2- and 3-year diplomas, and graduate certificates. So really, depending on where you are in your academic stream, there are options available to you. What's in it for you? So before we get into the programs, let me give you a bit of an overview of what's available for you. First of all, excellent hands-on learning. You'll see a picture here of students in one of our cook labs. We have large and small quantity cook labs, bake labs. We have lots of hands-on learning that are available, in-class demonstrations, certifications. So really, when you come to Georgian, you're not just going to be sitting and listening to somebody. You're going to get some great hands-on experience while you're here. Excellent co-op opportunities. In my humble opinion, I think you have the best co-op team of any school in the province. That might be arrogant of me to say, but because I'm part of that. But we have co-op opportunities for our programs right across the country and internationally, if that's something you're interested in. For the programs that have co-op, I'll speak to that, but we also have additional work integrated learning opportunities for other programs. You'll have 2 dedicated co-op people. My role as the employer relations consultant is really to connect students with the industry. And while you're out on co-op, I'll monitor your placement to be sure everything's going well. My colleague, Lindsay Byers, she'll prepare you for going for co-op, both with resumes and interview prep, absolutely, but also researching the industries you're getting into and answering questions you may have ahead of time. We have an excellent academic advisor. Her name is Casey McNabb. If at any point while you're at Georgian, you need a little bit more support, maybe it's with time management, maybe you're struggling a little bit in one of the classes and need some tutoring, maybe you need some support through counseling, whatever it might be, Casey is your first stop. Her office is right beside mine. I can tell you she does amazing work, will support you through that whole process, and then also provide opportunities and people you need to talk with if more support is needed. I've worked at a couple of different colleges, and I can tell you that our faculty are second to none. All of them are coming from industry, and they're bringing that real world experience into the class and talking about what it's like to work in the industries you're interested in. And then also, they're also a great connection for when you're looking for co-op, when you're looking for your grad opportunities. Your faculty are there to help you, support you through that as well. So never forget that. So that's an important piece for me as we move forward, that all the faculty are coming from industry and are really, really supportive of all students that go through that. All right, let's get into just a couple of the programs, and what I want to do is kind of break them up into some specialty areas. The first one we're going to talk about is our hospitality area. The first program is the Baking and Pastry Arts. It's a one-year program. It talks about both large quantity, large scale production in kitchens. You're really going to learn hands-on here. I can tell you my office is right to lab. When the kitchen starts cooking and the afternoon comes, I can tell you, I get pretty distracted pretty quickly just by the smells, the wonderful smells that are coming from that big exciting program run by our coordinator, Anthony Borgo. We have two culinary programs. One is a Culinary Skills program. This is a one-year program, and it's really giving you the essential skills to get out and start working in the industry. We also have a two-year culinary management program. There is a co-op in that program. It's after 2 semesters. You go out, you'll work, come back for the 3rd semester. This program is really getting you more prepared, working in butchery, catering, menu development, and really getting you ready for that next level of working in the culinary program. Phil Leach is the coordinator of that program. He's on today, so if we have questions about that, please ask. We have a wonderful event management program. The event management program is a postgraduate program. So for people that might already have some experience or exposure, some previous education, this is a great program. We have a number of students that come through for our hospitality and tourism programs that go directly into event management. Marilyn's a coordinator. She's amazing. She's worked in events, pretty well all her life, and she's great as far as talking about the real world applications of what this program can look like. Food and Nutrition Management, my friend Matt Kohler is a coordinator of this program. It's a one-year program. It's getting out there. It has 2 field placements, not co-ops, but work integrated learning opportunities for field placement. So that is hands-on. We see a number of people that are going through this program are working in long-term care, and really, really popular program, and something that people should really consider. We have 2 hospitality programs directly, hotel and resort programs. The first one is a 2-year program. It has 1 co-op in the middle, something I support and happy to do that. And it's really for students looking to work in hotels, resorts, and in the hospitality industry. In the middle, once again, you'll have a co-op, come back and take your co-op experience and bring it back to the classroom. If you want to continue on and look at some more managerial training, that's where that hospitality administration program will come in. That's a 3-year program. It has an additional co-op after your 4th semester, and then you'll be coming back into your 5th and 6th semester with 2 co-op experiences and really, really diverse experience coming out of the industry. Our recreation programs, we have a couple of options through our recreation programs. This is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I worked in recreation for years before getting into co-op. The Fitness and Health Promotion Program, once again, that's run by my friend Matt Kohler. It's a 2-year program. It has 2 industry experience opportunities. Matt is very, very well connected, as all the faculty in that program are, and they're very, very supportive of those industry experiences. We have a golf facilities operations management program that's run by my friend Tim Zato. It's a 2-year program, has 1 co-op, which I help support as well. And this is really for people that are looking to get into retail, turf side of the golf industry, pro shop, clubhouse. This summer we saw an absolute explosion in the golf industry. That was actually one of the few things that actually from COVID and that came through, was the golf industry had a really, really strong summer. And we see this as a real strong opportunity going. Recreation and Leisure Services, once again, a 2-year program with a co-op in the middle that helps support. Students coming in, have a background or experience or are excited to work in outdoor adventure, fitness, recreation, maybe in a facility, as well as senior activities. We see a huge uptake of that lately. And a number of our students that are doing co-op will work in that industry as well. And then finally, sports admin program, sports administration. This is run by Jillian. Jillian's great, really, really well connected. We have a number of students that do their placements in a variety of different associations and different groups. And this is really for people that are focusing more on the sports administration, sports management, sports marketing, maybe you're looking at becoming an athletic director. This is the industry you would look to work in, and this is maybe the program you're looking at. Finally, our tourism programs, we have a couple of aviation programs. We have an aviation management program. This is a 3-year program, and it's run by Derek. Derek's awesome, really well connected in this industry. It has 2 co-op opportunities in this industry as well. Lots of good hands-on experience, people that are looking to get into airport operations, crew scheduling, flight dispatch, cargo coordination, really also on the business side of the aviation management industry. Excellent program. Flight services, run by my wonderful friend Allison. Allison has some amazing experience in this industry and really brings it into the classroom. Her connectivity in the industry, she brings in guest speakers all the time, and it's a very, very exciting program. This is a one-year program. It's a certificate program, but if you're looking to work as a cabin crew, check-in agent, flight attendant, or in customer service, this is a wonderful program to get into. And finally, the tourism program, which once again is run by Marilyn, who also runs the event program. Marilyn, she's traveled all over the place. She brings that kind of personal exposure into this program as well, and talks about her excitement and enjoyment of working in tourism, where the opportunities are. It's a 2-year program. It has a co-op in the middle. It's a program that I support once again, and I'm happy to do that. If you're looking at getting into group sales, tour guide, maybe outdoor adventure, the tourism side of that, marketing, coordination, this is an excellent program for students to get into. That is really the overview of the programs that we have. What I want to do is, I have, as I mentioned, the coordinators are online today and they're looking to answer questions that you may have. If today you're a little bit maybe like not fully committed, maybe you're thinking, let me think about this a little bit more, I'm a little shy to ask questions, we're going to share with you afterwards all the emails of the coordinators in your programs, the programs you're looking at. Please feel free to reach out to them at any time. In the next week, you're going to receive a message, an email with a link for a WebEx room, for the personal WebEx rooms of each coordinator. And in the next week, you'll be able to log on to those WebEx rooms and have a one-to-one chat if you want with the coordinator of each one of those programs. But please, today, if you have questions, don't be shy. We're all here to answer them for you, and hopefully we can, convince you that Georgian College is the right choice for you. What I'll do is I'll share the emails of each coordinator for each program. What I would ask you to do is either take a screenshot or take a picture of them. I'll leave them up for a little bit of time. Anthony Borgo is the coordinator for Baking and Pastry Arts program. Anthony's awesome, and as I mentioned, not only do I sit right down from the Bake Lab, but my office is really close to his as well. Wonderful man, excellent experience, has actually traveled all over the world, representing Georgian College and also representing, the program. It is a great ambassador. There's Phil Leach. Phil's coordinator of both the Culinary Skills and Culinary Management program. Great experience. Once again, Phil's worked all throughout North America and in Europe as well. Marilyn's the coordinator of both the event management and tourism program. So if you have any questions about either one of those programs, Marilyn is your first point of contact there. And then Matt Kohler. Matt looks after both the food and nutrition management program as well as the fitness and health promotion program. I'll post his email up again later for the fitness program. Questions about either one of those programs, please send out an email to him if you don't have a chance to ask your question today. Ms. Lalonde is the coordinator of both our hotel programs. She's excellent. She's done a wonderful job building that program up. And once again, we have a 2-year option with 1 co-op and a 3-year option with 2 co-ops. If that's something you're looking at getting into Artemis, she'd be happy to speak with you and talk to you about not only the program itself, but also co-op opportunities that are available within that program. For recreation, once again, there's Matt's a coordinator of our fitness program. This is operations manager Tim Zato, good friend of mine. Tim has a wealth of experience right from the ground up in this industry. Also one of the few people in Canada that also hold both a CPGA professional card and a master's degree. It's one of the few people in Canada that actually holds both. Very, very knowledgeable and really passionate about the golf industry. Jill Robertson for our recreation and leisure program, as well as our sports admin program. So if you have any questions about either one of those programs, please reach out to Jill. As we mentioned, recreation has it's a 2-year program with 1 co-op. Sports administration has field placement, which Jill will help you with. I'll support you through the co-op process for recreation, and then Jill will support you through the process for sports administration. For tourism, please reach out to Derek. Once again, really well connected in the industry, can really talk about where grads have gone, where people are working, what opportunities look like. Reach out to him. He's a wonderful resource. My friend Alison Swarbeck, she will talk to you about flight services. It's really, really impressive the amount of knowledge she has in this industry, the connections she has, and some of the wonderful relationships that she continues to build within the industry. And then Marilyn Nigro, once again, Marilyn is both coordinator of tourism and event management. So if you have questions about any one or either one of those programs, tourism is a 2-year program. It does have a co-op in the middle. I work very closely with Marilyn on developing those co-op opportunities. And she's a wonderful resource and really working hard at connecting students with the industry. I really want to take this opportunity to ask questions, to have you as the student ask us what you need to know. There's a lot of information I've given to you in a really short period of time, and I apologize for that. As I said, I get pretty excited. I talk really quickly, but it's something that we're all really passionate about. So ask us anything. If it's about the hands-on learning, if it's about the co-op opportunities, do you want to know more about the counseling side? What about your faculty? What does a day in the life of a student look like? Please ask us, and we're here to answer those questions for you today.
Okay, John. Wow, thank you, John. That was a great overview of the hospitality, tourism, and recreation programs. And in our Q&A window, we are seeing a number of questions come in already. So if I can circle back and just start with a couple for you. Our first question is, what kind of co-ops do you have available for students in programs like fitness and health promotion?
Yeah, great. So for fitness health promotion, that's industry placement. Matt Kohler will work with you on that. Matt's incredibly well connected. I will tell you, the faculty in that program are incredibly well connected into that industry. And you see people working as personal trainers. We've seen a lot of people working both at, private health clubs like Fit for Less, those kind of places, as well as community organizations. We see people working in long-term care opportunities through there. We see people that continue on, actually, and it's one of the interesting, it's a great foundation course for people that are looking to continue on, maybe look at a kinesiology degree afterwards. And that's a great program. A number of students who have followed that path as well. So if you're looking, if you're into fitness, it's something that you believe in. We have a number of people. The last one, Stephen, I don't want to forget this, is we've had a number of students who've gone out and started a small business through that as well, become their own fitness consultant and started working in the industry. So yeah, I don't want to displace that because it's just really, there's so much opportunity, especially with people being locked in a little bit. Right now, I'm actually working out with one of the students online. So the students in that program classes actually have to do some training of people. And I have one of the students actually training me online right now, and it's great. She's doing a wonderful job.
Wow, that's exciting stuff. Our next question, John, is what would you say the baking and pastry arts course is preparing for more of a home scale pastry, or is it something with the possibility of large scale hotel pastry?
Yeah, great question. I'm going to give you my answer, but then I'm also going to see if Phil maybe can answer some more questions. Phil's a coordinator of our culinary programs, but also is really connected to the baking and pastry arts program as well. I can tell you, we have students that are there that are looking at small quantity and looking at opening their own little cake shops, but as well, people that want to work in a large quantity, large scale area as well, they're doing really, really well on that program. If Phil's available, Phil, would you mind just giving a little bit more information about that if possible?
Sure, John. In that baking and pastry program, they do a lot of large quantities, so a large scale production of baking products. So if that answers, they do use house mixers sometimes. They use large scale mixers at times, but they do have it's a large production bakery, and there is a strong emphasis on entrepreneurship, giving you the skills to possibly either work in the industry or even open your own bakery.
That's great, Phil. Thanks for that. Really, really good information.
Okay, John, our next question, and this is something, as you mentioned, is near and dear to your heart. What kinds of jobs could you possibly get into with sports administration?
Hey, great question. Jillian's on this call as well, so I'm going to ask her. But from what we've seen, we see a lot of students that are going through. We've had students work for the Toronto Argonauts, students work for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. We've had students work for Rugby Canada. I have a few connections there. Jillian's really, really connected through the soccer industry. So we see people that are working up and through those different associations, as well as large sports teams. We have people that have gone on to work for MLS. And also with the Toronto Maple Leaf organization as well. But Jillian, if you're available, maybe I'll ask Jillian just to respond to that a little bit better than I can.
Thanks, John. Our program is fairly new, so our grads are just sort of, as they're graduating, getting out into the field. So we've had a number of students work for minor sport associations full-time once they've graduated. They've worked in municipalities, in their recreation departments, and we've had some that have moved on into sport and player analytic companies where they've done player stats and analytics for junior teams as well as some semi-professional teams. So that's just sort of an overview of some of the jobs that they've been able to get once they've graduated.
That's great, Jillian. Thank you very much. John, here's another question for you. Where do you place students, or do you have to find your own placements?
Great questions. We don't place students, but my role as the employer developer, employer relations consultant, is to connect students with the industry. So we have a couple of different options and opportunities. We have employers that come in and actively promote to have our students come and work with them. So even in just this last week, we've had Dearest Resort, Blue Mountain, Kananaskis, JW Marriott. We have a number of employers that will come on campus, either on campus or virtually come on campus and talk to students about those opportunities. We have Georgian Connects, which is our job posting site. So we'll post hundreds of jobs, usually starting in January, for students to apply to. They can be local. You'll see them also provincial and right across Canada. We have a really strong reach right out to the East Coast, to the Algonquin Resort in New Brunswick, and all the way up to Tofino on the West Coast. If students are looking to work internationally, that's something we can support as well. We have a job fair that we have every February, so it's usually the first Tuesday in February. Last year, we brought in over 80 employers from across the country to meet with students in our gymnasium. It was a great day. Students dressed up, very professional. So that's some of them, Steve. However, if a student comes to me and says, John, I have something unique, something that is maybe something you haven't thought about before, I would work with that student one-on-one to develop those opportunities as well.
That's great. And John, here's a follow-up question to that. What's the co-op placement rate?
Well, yeah, I'm happy and proud to say that once again, our co-op rate for the School of Hospitality, Tourism, and Recreation for the programs I look after is 1%. The only students that don't find co-op in our programs are students that don't work that summer, really. So yeah, it's at 100% right now.
And John, there's obviously a lot of questions around the pandemic. Students are asking, will classes be online now, or do we have to come to campus?
I'll answer that, but maybe you can help me with that as well. Right now, students are learning remotely with the exception of a couple of programs. So for our culinary program, students are coming on campus for their labs. And for a hotel and resort program, they're coming on campus for their labs. That's just specific for our programs. And we're taking that semester by semester right now. So for the winter semester, we've already been told that learning profile will still stay the same. And then as we get through the winter and see how things progress, we'll make a decision on what the summer and the next fall looks like as we kind of get through. So right now, semester to semester, for the programs that have labs, we're asking students to come on campus. And the procedures going through that are very, very stringent, and we're really proud of that. And then the other students for your other classes or courses are learning remotely. Is there anything you want to add to that, Steve?
Yeah, no, you're bang on, John, and I think we are dedicated to the safety and health of staff and students, and we're following the necessary protocols put in place by the ministry, be it government officials as well as health authorities. So it's more or less day by day, and we do post on our website the COVID update. So if students are interested, they can go to our main page at GeorgianCollege.ca and see exactly what's happening with respect to the pandemic. Another question here. I know that culinary program in the past has sent students abroad to work in kitchens. Does the Pastry Arts program do this also?
Great question. Once again, Pastry Arts program doesn't have a co-op, but with both Phil and Anthony Burgos, the coordinator, with their international experience, Anthony's been over in Italy a number of times. Phil actually worked over in Europe for quite a while. So that could be something to definitely work with. For students who want to work internationally, we have an international co-op consultant, Joanne Foxton, and all the paperwork that's required, visas, work permits, insurance, any of that's needed, we will help with that. But I'll ask Phil as well. I know he's here. Phil, is there anything else you want to add to that? I know we have had students go and work abroad before. You and Anthony are amazing in supporting that. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, John, actually just having the credential from Georgian or colleges, Ontario colleges, regardless whether it's a diploma program or even the baking certificate, it does open a lot of opportunities for traveling internationally. These jobs are very in need, not only in Canada or Ontario, but all over the world. So it does open up a range of travel opportunities.
Yeah, thanks for that, Phil. Really wonderful. The credential, once again, is recognized internationally, so that's wonderful.
John, here's another one that refers to some of the articulation agreements. And I have a young lady asking, she says, I know if I take the hotel management course, that would enter me into a low position job at a resort. What university course or college course would I have to take thereafter to achieve a higher position?
Yeah, taking the hospitality program doesn't mean you're going to get entered into an entry level position by any means. A number of the positions we post for co-op are actually for entry level management, supervisors, that kind of next level opportunity as well. And of course, that goes on to the level of experience students have prior to coming in. The reality is we have a number of students that come to us with little to no work experience, so maybe an entry level job is perfect for them. But if you have experience in the industry, or you have experience even outside of the industry where you can relate your skills, our employers are always looking for that entry-level management, supervisor role, that next level role. I would also say for articulation, Steve, and you know this just as well as I do, that we have some really good agreements with a number of different universities, both at Georgian itself offering university programs, but then outside of that, I know a number of our students have gone down even into New Hampshire and worked and done their degree through there. So more and more with the articulation agreements that we have at Georgian, you'll see that students will do the 3-year program in hotel, usually go out and work for a while in the industry, get some really good experience, and then look to come back or do their additional university online. My only recommendation on that is wherever you go, if you're going to continue on that, that's going to make you very, very marketable. You'll see a number of our faculty actually have similar pathways where they have diplomas, degrees, and then many of them have gone on and got their master's degree after. That is really, really remarkable in the hospitality industry and something students should definitely consider.
John, here's a question that talks about more like a day in the life. It says, how long are students on campus during the day in college?
Yeah, that depends on the program, Steve. I wish I could give a real absolute about that, because it really depends on the program. You'll have anywhere between 18 and 24 hours of class per week, and that will include, depending on the program, that'll include labs. There might be some, traveling to see employers. There might be guest speakers. both Marilyn with both the event and tourism program, and also Allison with the flight program. They do quite a bit with students to employers and getting them out into the industry to show them what it's really, really like. So it's tough for me to say. It's usually between 18 and 24 hours, but I would suggest students need to have a little bit of flexibility in, especially if you're going out and seeing some of the top employers in your industry, because that gives you an opportunity to see what it's like, what the culture is like in those places, and see if that's maybe somewhere you'd like to work.
That's great. Here's another question, and I think we've addressed this before. It says, how long or, nope, pardon me. That's the next question is, do I go to college or is it online? And again, as you mentioned before, that many of our programs are shifting to more of a asynchronous or synchronous delivery model, which could be a blend of online and in-class learning. So it would be dependent, of course, on that program. Here's another program-related question. It says, with respect to co-ops, it says, how are co-op placements working due to the pandemic? Are these put on hold?
Yeah, great question. So from this summer, obviously, especially in hospital, you know, it was really kind of up in the air. What we did is no student lost their co-op this summer. So we had students that were getting ready to work, were literally getting ready to go out into the industry when the pandemic hit, and then lost their jobs from that. What we did is any student that had a job that was guaranteed but lost it due to COVID, we made sure every one of those students got credit for that. So nobody missed out. Everybody's still going to graduate on time. I'm telling you, we're already seeing a huge rebound. I'm on several different committees to look at how to get more students working in several different of our local regions, especially up in Muskoka where we are. I sit on a committee up there where they're really desperate for more students to come up and work. How can we get more students coming? How can we get more students from Georgian College coming? And then we've also seen, even from out west, we've already had a number of employers from out west that we usually deal with, asking about what next summer looks like, how can they recruit to our students, what can they do to put themselves ahead of other employers, right? So we're optimistic, and the industry is actually very, very optimistic about what's going on, not only for right now, and you'll see the winter actually from Blue Mountain, who's one of our great partners. They're very excited for the winter season. They had a great summer, especially when it comes to golf, and they're excited about the ski season. You know, just as well as I do, Steve, if not better, that the ski season up here is amazing, and all the resorts are just waiting for the snow to fly to get people out. And I think they're really expecting an amazing winter with people really excited to get out and enjoy some of the outdoors.
Yes, no, that's true. I've heard pass sales have reached an all-time high for many of the resorts. Here's a question with regards to flight services. I read that flight services get a lot of certifications. What are they?
Great question. I'm going to turn it over to my very good friend, Allison Swerbeck. Allison is going to answer that question. She has so much experience in this industry and really great connectivity. So Allison, I'm going to get you to answer that question for us, please.
Of course. Thank you so much for the question. We're very fortunate when we built our program, we put in a course called Certifications for the Hospitality Industry, and that was really to make sure that students had a well-rounded resume to put out to employers. So some of the excuse me, some of the courses that are, or certifications that are in that course include SmartServe for responsible alcohol service, self-defense, WMIS, It's Your Shift, which is a certification through OTEC and ORMA regarding sexual violence and harassment in the workplace. We also do first aid and CPR level C, which is appropriate for our industry. And we also, in terms of partnerships, have a direct line to Jazz Aviation based on grading. So a lot of opportunities that occur in our program. So thank you for the question.
Thank you, Allison. That's great.
Yes, thanks, Allison. John, a couple of questions have come in with respect to the community integration for cooperative learning. They were wondering if the program connected to hospitality, tourism, and recreation, will they acquire certificates or a degree?
I'm going to ask, I think I'll ask Jillian for that. Now, I will give you my experience that I've taught both in the recreation program and had students from the community integration program come in. I also have students from the community integration program do their placements with the rugby team. I take on a manager, or a couple of managers every year, and students from that program, I'm always happy to have them in part of the rugby team. So they usually become managers of my team for their placement. As far as the academic side, my understanding, and I'll ask Jillian maybe to clarify that if she can, is usually students will get a certificate through that and then can look to transfer that after, if that's a pathway that they want to pursue. Jillian, can you answer that a little bit better than I can?
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry, John, can you just clarify? I wasn't sure what you meant with the certification.
Yeah, so for the community integration certificate program, it's students who are coming in and usually taking courses on a scalable level. And so what they're looking for usually is, as they come through the program, are integrated in the program and are looking at getting certification with potential for diploma or certification within that program afterwards. Have you had any experience working with students in that? I have, but I just wonder if maybe you as well.
Not to my knowledge, we haven't done that in the sport program.
No, that's fine. So yeah, my experience with that, Steve, is we have students that come through. We'll have a modified curriculum within the programs. Depending on what program they come in, could be recreation, could be hospitality, could be sport, and we'll come in and have a modified curriculum and then look to transfer that. They can get a certificate from that, but then also look to transfer that later on if they want into the diploma as well.
That's great, John. And that, in fact, that answers one of the questions with respect to how the CICE program works. Here's another question, John, about co-ops. It says, where can I do my co-op? Do I have to stay in Ontario?
Great question. For me, we usually have students kind of different sides. Students that like to be maybe a little bit closer to home. Maybe it's the first time they've been away from home. Maybe it's the first time they've worked away from home. And then we have other students that say to me, John, get me as far away from home as possible. And we can do either one of those, actually. So we have students that work, close to home in their own hometowns, around Barrie, up through Muskoka, across the province, across the country. Once again, we have students that have worked all the way from Nova Scotia out to Tofino on the West Coast. And we have students that work internationally every year. We've had students that have worked down through the US. We've had students that have worked over in Italy, England, Thailand. It's really just a matter of where students want to go. Now, if students are looking to travel internationally, we'll do some extra work with them just to be sure they're prepared to go. If a student hasn't really traveled outside the country before and come to us and say, John, I would love to go to Thailand, we're going to do some extra work with them just to be sure they're aware of some of the cultural aspects of working in a different country. But if that's something people want to pursue, once again, we would help them with work permits, visas, insurance, communication while they're over there. All of that would be supported as well. So really, it's whatever the student wants from their co-op experience.
That's great. Here's another question, John, with regards to back what you said. So people are listening. This is great. Assuming COVID is done in a year or two from now, will I be walking into a market that is saturated with people that were previously hired or waiting to get back in?
Yeah, great question. I was actually, last week was the Tourism Industry Association of Ontario. It's an association obviously in Ontario around tourism, had their national conference. I'm actually on the Tourism Association of Canada conference this week, as well as a bunch of different associations talking about employment opportunities within our hospitality, tourism, recreation industry. Everything that's projected is within a year or two, if not sooner, Steve, that there's actually going to be a huge rebound. The industry right now is actually worried about not having enough people to work. That's a legitimate concern. Before COVID hit, there was probably, you know, for hotel, tourism, probably 5 jobs for each student. I can tell you for culinary, there was 10 jobs for every student we had. It's just incredible. And they're looking at, every one of those associations is already looking at a massive rebound. So as we come out of this, the opportunities will actually be greater than they ever have been. So for me, I think it's a great time to actually get into these industries and programs. As students graduate, they're going to find that the wealth of opportunity is, you know, they're going to really have a choice of where they want to go, who they want to work for, and what that first career job looks like.
Yeah, I would agree. Here's another question. I'm a deferral student, and when I'm going back to Georgian for a whole other program, I'm going from rec to tourism. Would this year's co-op be transferable to tourism from rec?
Absolutely, that's something we can look at, right? So if you've already done a program at Georgian, you've got a co-op credit for it, and you're looking at moving that into one of our other programs, that's definitely something we can look at. My recommendation, however, and I'd love to talk to that student one-on-one, is if you have the opportunity to get some more industry experience through co-op, I would take it. So instead of deferring that co-op or looking for a PLA or something like that, I would actually look to work in the industry, get even more experience while you're in school, and then when you graduate, having that extra bit of marketability as well. Once again, co-op is not just about going out and making money and seeing the industry. It's really to find out where you fit into the industry. Some people fit really, really well at massive resorts. Some people fit better at smaller resorts, long-term care, maybe community centers, recreation centers. So depending on who you are and what your values are, your personality, really depends on where you're going to fit. So I would use that extra co-op opportunity to explore that.
Here's another great question. I'm getting a lot of baking and pastry art questions. There's one here that says, well, in fact, I think Philip is replying as we speak. So maybe we'll take that one on. I like this question. This came in. Georgian, of course, has one of the highest graduate employment rates among all 24 Ontario colleges. And the student is asking, will I be guaranteed a job after I graduate?
Well, Steve, you can answer that just as well, if not better than I can. What I can tell you is from the students that are graduating from our hospitality, tourism, recreation programs, the programs that I look after for co-op, I see the employment rate. That's what I'm seeing. We spend a lot of time staying in connection and staying connected to our grads. We want to know how they're doing, where they're going, but as well, we use a lot of those grads for co-op opportunities. We will reach out to them, looking to get into the industry. How about coming and working for you? And now those students have gone up until, you know, managerial positions, entry-level managerial positions, senior-level managerial positions, and we're reaching out to those grads and getting them to hire some of our co-op students. And all the information we're getting is that the graduation rate and employment rate for our programs is 100%. Is that something you're seeing as well, Steve, around the guarantee of employment when students leave Georgian College?
Yeah, absolutely, John. We're very fortunate to be, as I said before, ranked among the top placing colleges. And as you noted, some of our programs do have 100% placement rate. So it's certainly dependent upon the program, but there are no guarantees. We certainly do see a lot of students, by virtue of the quality of education they receive and the experience they get through co-op, securing full-time employment. Let's just jump over to a couple more questions. We're nearing the end, and I just don't want to interrupt others who are taking advantage of answering these. Oh, that one's been answered. Oh, that one's been answered. Let me just see here. Philip's got that one. Can I apply to the 2-year hotel or resort and then change to HADM and do an additional year?
Yeah, great question. So if you start off in the 2-year program, the first 2 years have a similar pathway. So what'll happen is all students, whether you're in the 2-year or 3-year program, you'll start off, go along the same pathway. Then at any point, if you decide you want to continue on and choose that 3rd year and go on to 3rd year, do a second co-op, you can do that at any point and you'll still be on the same pathway. That's a great question, because we see most of the students that do the 3-year program have done the 2-year, realize this is great, I want some more education, want another co-op, see some, upper level management opportunities available for me, and we'll continue on into that 3rd year.
That's fantastic. And I know that, a lot of students, they decide today on a pathway and they get in and become immersed in some of the opportunities, and it really does expand their mind. So I know I can speak from personal experience, having started in a program and then discovering another area that was very appealing and being able to transfer without penalty. And it was almost like using my past to carry me forward. So this was great. Let's, I see that there are a number of questions that are coming up again with respect to field placements. And I think Marilyn is doing a great job answering those. Let's see if I can find another one here that has come up. Okay, here we go. I've got one here that refers to the fact that my marks were not that great in high school. Will I still get in?
That's a great question. Taking somebody who did not do well in high school and got in university, and once I got there, actually I did much better. So we see students that maybe have struggled in some capacity in high school. Once they get to college, actually do really, really well. The support's available, especially at Georgian, and that's going to sound like, they're really pumping up our tires, but I have seen that our counseling crew do, our academic advisors do, and they're doing great jobs of supporting students through that. As far as getting in, my recommendation would be to apply. Apply and see where you go. If you get the feedback that, you need to bump up your marks a little bit here and there, great. But my first thought would be is apply, see what we can do, talk to the coordinators, emails are all there, email coordinator, find out where you are. You might think your marks are bad. For you, Steve, your bad marks were probably in the 80s. My bad marks were probably in the 50s. So, bad is kind of a relative term. So what I would do is apply and then reach out to the coordinators and see where you would stand, and also what supports are available once you get on campus as well.
Yeah, 100%, John. And I know Georgian, aside from the faculty, we do have a number of support services available. So again, if students are interested in connecting with any of our counselors, whether it's for mental health counseling or if you need to meet with someone to talk about your individual education plan, we do have people on staff that can help with that. So be sure to take full advantage of that. At this point, we are nearing the end of the Hospitality, Tourism, and Recreational Program. I just want to extend a big thank you to you, John, and your colleagues, all of the panelists, to say how supportive they've been throughout this, and how lucky we are to have such an amazing group of people, faculty available to help us and to support our students. Our next panel will begin at the bottom of the hour at 10:30, and this will cover our design and visual art programs at Georgian. So if you are interested in joining us for that, please log back in, and we'll be happy to get started with that session. Thanks, John, and best of luck to you.
Thanks.
And, thanks to your faculty.
Thanks everyone for their time today. Great seeing everybody. Take care.